relax and enjoy as Don Tony gives you news and reviews from AEW.
Welcome to the party! Oh my God! Thanks for coming, Sammy!
NXT.
It's over! Cross is here to ransack NXT soul!
And indie wrestling. It's Wednesday night, Dynamite.
Know what's happening in the world of wrestling without the hate and clickbait. And now, your host, Don Tony.
Two, one. There you go. All right. Woof. Woof. Boy, that was kind of embarrassing. 3 minutes. 3 minutes of just silence over here. I got a little nervous for a second. This is why it is so important to know what you're doing. You know, study everything, prepare, and try to figure out every little thing that could go wrong. There are podcasters out there, and you know a lot of examples. They will do nothing on their own. They refuse to learn how to do the stuff. If they can't get somebody to record, host, this is that, they just make you excuse after excuse after excuse why they're not doing shows. Their uncle will die 5 times. Their animals who have been gone for 20 years suddenly are back from the dead in the vets. There's always an excuse going on. Here, man. I know, that was my sign language. Like, oh, that was embarrassing. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, everybody. You know why that happened? I'll tell you exactly why that happened. Somebody gave me this crazy idea of having Fred Cam. See, right now he's just chilling in the cage, and I hit the audio before, and I think it reset all my audio equipment. So, yeah, that's actually live right now. The bird is actually hanging out. You can't really see him right now, but tomorrow I'm sure he'll be out screaming up a storm, and we'll have Fred Cam live as we're going along. So, Freddie makes a little cameo. Things have been crazy today. Things have been crazy today. Now, this episode is going to be very fast. For those that wanted to call in tonight, I'm sorry to say this. We're going to hold off until tomorrow for live calls. And the reason being, is because a lot of you out there, believe it or not, do not watch NXT. And tonight's Wednesday Night Dynamite is going to basically just get into a couple of tidbits from last night's show, do predictions for In Your House, NXT TakeOver In Your House, which right now is only 5 matches. We'll talk a little bit about Mickie James showing up in NWA. Mish and I on Patreon yesterday had a fascinating conversation about this, and I'm going to talk about a few things here tonight as well. So I want to get into those 3 things and get out of here tonight. Tomorrow at the usual 10 o'clock hour, 10:05 p.m., it'll be the mailbag. Anything goes. We'll do calls all night long. I am now pretty much 100% prepared to take dozens and dozens of calls, so we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow night. Now, for my YouTube channel members, and remember, there's no purchase necessary. To become a channel member, you don't sign up to take part in predictions contests for prizes. I do it as an extra, as a way of thanking, you know, those who do support the channel, you know, with the membership. So for all of you out there that are a channel member, we're going to do the predictions contest over the weekend for NXT TakeOver. There's only going to be one winner, straight up one winner. I mean, if we get a flurry of new subscribers, then maybe we'll give this away as a runner-up. You know, signed picture by Karrion Kross. And trust me, the quality actually is very nice. Yeah, that's a little better. It's signed by both. If you think it's not a real thing, just ask Karrion Kross. Got a couple more. And you can throw that shit on. If you're not a fan of this, you can throw it on eBay, get $1.50 off of it right now. Maybe we'll do that as a runner-up prize. But for everyone out there that does take part this weekend, the prize that I decided to give away, and I think this one is a pretty damn cool one. It is the Johnny Gargano signed, autographed, which is the same thing, and framed of, you know, the first, you know, Triple Crown champion. I think he's the first in NXT. So that is autographed. It has got a certificate of authenticity from WWE. And look, if you're not a Gargano fan, throw it on eBay too. You'll get $150, $200 for it. So that will be the prize for this weekend for anybody who wants to take part. Now, Austin Nance says he's sold on Karrion Kross. Look, man, I know I sound like a broken record sometimes of things that I say in certain topics, but I'm going to repeat part of it now. And, you know, it's no secret, obviously, Karrion Kross is a friend of the family. Take a shot every time I've said that. You'd be pissed drunk right now. But the one thing that I always take pride in what I do, going back to 1997, is I tell it like it is, in my opinion. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't gush so people could look at me, acknowledge me, acknowledge me. No, I say it like it is. And if something deserves criticism, it gets criticism. And trust when I tell you, people like Karrion Kross and others that I know, they want to be told if, in our eyes, something could be better. You know, you think this guy needs to obsess himself in the gym like he does? You know, he could cut back a little bit, maybe go on carnivore a little bit more and do a few, you know, shortcuts here and there, go on the prove-it diet, so to speak. But the guy is obsessed, and the guy is dedicated. You know, being obsessed at something isn't always good, but when you're obsessed and dedicated at the same time to better yourself, to better your profession, to better not only for his escalation in wrestling, but to make wrestling a little bit better than what it was before he ever arrived. And the thing with Karrion Kross is you got people online that will gush, 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 gush. Wasn't that Paula Abdul song? Gush, gush, gush. Oh, baby, acknowledge me. Gush, gush. I want to see you. I want to see you hit that like for me. Gush, gush. Very bad impersonation. You know, I actually found the photos of me going to Paula Abdul in like 1990, sitting front row because the chick I was dating with at the time was dying to see Paula Abdul. I wanted to get laid. I got front row tickets, and who opened for Paula Abdul? I know some of you know this story already. Color Me Bad. Ooh, Ooh, I wanna sex you up. I hated them. I hated them as much as I hated Jersey Shore and Belle Biv DeVoe. Now you know. So I actually found the photos because Nia Rafe, who I know a lot of you in the chat room always talk to, he's on my freaking ass. He's like, I want to see the photos. So I actually went in the box and I found them. So maybe tomorrow I'll whip a couple of pictures out. You'll see actually there's one picture where Paula Abdul's got this whole bunch of roses and she points to me. You know, and I'm like, I don't care about you. I just want to get laid after the concert. Oh, man. Woo. So how he even got on there, I have no idea. Well, Karrion Kross, here's the thing. Adam Cole handed Karrion Kross his ass last week. We pointed out yesterday when Karrion Kross said to William Regal, you don't run NXT, I run NXT. It's my show. And the crowd goes mild. And this is only because Karrion Kross is still in the process of creating his identity in NXT. A lot of this is the fault of WWE, because you could see early on, is Karrion Kross a babyface? Is he a heel? Is he somewhat in the middle? And I understand his character is very complicated. You know, he is, you know, an assassin, not only in the ring, but on the mic as well. But the thing is, he's got to get acclimated more to not only WWE and NXT, but the people that he's surrounded against. You know, making a little joke about the gas station attendant thing, you know, it's something that everybody online would say. You know, when Adam Cole came out yesterday and he had that title in his hand, that crowd popped. That crowd didn't pop because they don't like Karrion Kross. It's because Adam Cole has been bringing it for the last bunch of years. And I said it in 2020. I thought Adam Cole was the MVP of NXT in 2019 going into 2020. I would have no problem if Adam Cole was the wrestler of the year of 2020 or even 2019. The guy just nails it. And again, you know, a lot of people don't give Adam Cole credit for a lot of the improvement for Britt Baker. Britt Baker obviously is driving hours and hours and hours, probably some of it unnecessary to hone her craft, but she's got one of the top coaches, you know, in her significant other. This guy is at the top of his game, and fans respect that. Fans appreciate it. Fans love it. Look at MSK. SoFly brought it up last week. We brought it up 2-3 weeks ago, and it happened again yesterday. The crowd appreciates MSK, but they're not really into them completely. They were more chanting for Legado del Fantasma yesterday than anything else. That will come in time for MSK. It'll come in time. And the thing is that Karrion Kross, even though he was in Impact, and even though he was in Lucha Underground, and he made various appearances in other promotions, none of those promotions took the time to really, really focus on speaking and promo and psychology. I mean, Karrion Kross, most of this is himself coming up with this. And as the years go by, he will just get better and better and better. And, you know, I have brought this up. I have worked for a few wrestling promotions over the years. I made a lot of friends over the years. You know, I don't talk about that aspect all that much because for some reason some people interpret that as me rubbing it in their face, which is not true whatsoever. But the one thing that wrestlers have told me over the years is that they don't want to be pandered to. They appreciate the support and they want support, but they also want the criticism. A lot of them do. Not everybody, but a lot of them do. They want to be told. They want to see what other people are thinking and be honest. And you got people online that will do this for Karrion Kross. Listen closely. That's for the audio-only people. They're whacking him off. He can do no wrong. He's Jesus Christ with a hot chick. That doesn't help him. That doesn't help him. You know, when he gets his ass handed to him by Adam Cole last week, in a couple of years, Karrion Kross will hand someone else their ass. A couple of months, Karrion Kross may do it. But instead of just being honest and just saying, look, you know, I was a little bit one-sided last week, and, you know, but we also got to understand Adam Cole has been building that with professionals for the last bunch of years. You know, everybody's like, they got to take shots at Adam Cole. Oh, Adam Cole's arms are as big as these legs. They're as big as these legs. Karrion Kross is not going to lose this title Sunday, in my opinion. I don't know why people think that WWE is doing this 5-way as a way for Karrion Kross to lose without getting pinned. If Karrion Kross loses this belt Sunday, it is a failure, in my honest opinion. They have just touched the surface with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross came in, and had the tremendous intro, just the music and the visual. Had a couple of matches. Had a great feud with Keith Lee, albeit a very short one because Keith Lee was going to the main roster. Wins the belt and he gets injured. Then Balor gets it. Balor gets injured. The difference is Balor doesn't do anything with the belt for 9 weeks. And that's why Balor's stock went down. Instead of taking those 9 weeks and maybe do a little surprise storyline where somebody out of nowhere wins the heavyweight title and boosting them up. No, they made excuses for 9 weeks why Balor wasn't defending the championship. That hurt Balor. That's WWE's fault. That's not Balor's fault. Karrion Kross, they're still trying to build his identity. And in the year 2021, especially with fans coming back to live shows, you need, more than anything, clear-cut babyface or heels. Karrion Kross doesn't have to be kissing babies. But the point is that especially with live fans coming back, you can't have the live fans keeping their hands on their asses and having no reaction for big champions. You got to go in one direction or the other. And that's why this 5-way is being done, because you got a little bit of everything. What comes out of this 5-way? I still think Pete Dunne needs to, I'm sorry for always using this as a prop. I mean, I don't have a Scarlett Bordeaux action figure, and I don't want to see this in real life, but I still think that Pete Dunne has got to go up to Scarlett, do this with her hands. And then when Karrion Kross flips the fuck out, you got to have, Pete Dunne with like, oh, well. So Karrion Kross, nothing to worry about, everyone. But for people out there that are trying to make it seem like, oh, he's polished. Oh, let's bring him to Raw already. Let's bring him to SmackDown already. Yeah, have him main event SummerSlam. Let him take on Jesus Christ. Those people don't even know how to book like an appointment for a doctor or any. Oh, my God, please keep it in a little perspective here. God, the guy has just hit the surface. I mean, just because your fandomhood is to the point of obsession where you almost would, tattoo is, no, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. But no, I do not think Karrion Kross is losing the belt this Sunday. But as far as NXT yesterday, and like I said, tonight's show is going to be very, very short for the simple reason that tomorrow we're going to have a real fun show over here. We'll do some more trivia. If I have time, I'll do another audio trivia. I was pretty fabulous last week. Those 5 themes, I mean, it was just amazing, how long that contest took. And of all the contests, of all the who am I's, who that, this, and this, last week's musical one, I got the most feedback. So many emails that people freaking loved it. So we might do that tomorrow. I just got to find the time because now with the maniac inside, it's not that easy, to work and do it. And he's still chilling. He's still chilling. He won't go anywhere. I know it's a little dark, but he will stay in this cage until I'm done with my show. I think he's watching TV right now. Yeah, he's watching TV. By the way, Adnan Virk was on MLB Network right before I went live. And, I tell you, there was like a little bit of energy missing on it. Somebody in outfield did like a fabulous catch. And it just felt like I expected him to say, what a fabulous catch from the almighty queen of the Sin City. I don't know. I think Virk got a little bit damaged from his reputation because of the WWE stuff. He does not feel as comfortable on the MLB. Go put on the MLB Network right now. He's on there. And go listen to him for 15 minutes. It seems like he's changed a little bit. But left Twix. Why does Cole not lift weights? How do you know Cole doesn't lift weights? Why? Because Cole is not 230 pounds? Why does Adam Cole have to be so much bigger? Booyaka. I mean, you know, we had wrestlers over the years, CM Punk, that people fucking were just infatuated with. Not everybody needs to portray as this larger-than-life superhero. I think Adam Cole is perfectly fine as he is. He is one of the top wrestlers out there, and it's very easy for people to make the 320 character jokes. Ha ha, LOL, MMO, you know, and there's a reason why when they look at Twitter one last time at the end of the night to see how many likes they got, you know, when they reach over and they say, honey, turn the light off, you understand why the light is on for the rest of the night. Very easy to crack insults and jokes about others when, you know, nobody has any capability of cracking insulted jokes in your own backyard. See how it feels. See how it feels. I have no problem with Adam Cole whatsoever. The guy, psychology-wise, promo, in the ring, the fucking brawl he had with Kyle O'Reilly, I mean, it's one of my favorite matches. Those two guys had a war. A war. And it should still be in the top 5 of all the matches of 2021, regardless of whatever promotion you're looking at. And I'm going to concern myself with his arms. Not me. Not me. Not me. I think Adam Cole is fine. Seriously. You know, I remember when Kurt Angle had to deal with a little bit of atrophy or whatever in his arms when he went to TNA for whatever reason. We pointed it out because he looked sickly. Adam Cole does not look sickly. Adam Cole, you know, his physique is his physique. You know, I think people just want to paint certain profiles of what people should be. You know, and I personally feel that it's the ones that are loudest making fun of Adam Cole. If you ever got to see a profile pic of half of those people, I think you probably only, if they wore an Adam Cole costume, this is what the costume would look like. You would only see half their body fill the screen. They'd need a widescreen. Fix your own backyard before you make fun of everybody else's physique and looks and everything else, in my opinion. Ralphman says NXT is boring. NXT needs more disorganization. I've been saying that for over a year now. You know, oh, they're doing a tornado match next week. But it's with the grizzled young veterans. Soon! Soon! Soon what? Soon! I just didn't have no connection with me. This is 2+ years now. This is 2+ years. And I'm sorry, one of them, you know, I think for Halloween, walks around and looks for candy and says, oh, I'm Attitude Era Shawn Michaels. That's what he looks like to me. The other one looks like a rejected member of the Dark Order. Just character-wise, they just don't do it for me. I mean, how many times are you going to come out there? Soon! Soon what? Soon we may get 10% of the crowd behind us. They're going to do exactly what I said about the Revival, FTR. Remember that? I appreciate everybody that remembered that. When the Revival were not getting over on WWE television, I got on the show and I said, they're going to do a comedy storyline with them. I see it a mile away. They're going to do comedy. They're going to think that the only way to get these guys over is do some ridiculously stupid comedy. And that's when they did this stuff with the Usos and the scratchy, you know, itchy stuff. You know, that was their attempt to try to get them connected. That's exactly what's going to happen to the Grizzled veterans. They're going to end up having to do some type of a comedy storyline to try to get the crowd behind them whatsoever. You know, too many times, consistently, lowest quarter-hour ratings of the night. Biggest drop in the quarter-hour ratings. You know, if it happens once, 2, 3 times, everybody hits a lull. Everybody hits a lull. When it happens 15 out of 17 shows, the quarters that you're in, 15 in the last 17, that's cause to be concerned. Look at Everrise. Remember, like 4 months ago, will Everrise ever rise? Remember that? They haven't been on TV at all. What are they doing? They're walking around with the mug. Trying to be the elite. You know? It's not working. You know, the podcast is not that bad. But there's 10,000 non-wrestlers out there, some of you tuning in, who do podcasts 10 times more entertaining than them. You know, there's some people. You know, look at Jake Atlas. Look at Jake Atlas. 2 weeks ago, he wins against LA Knight, and we made the joke that, oh man, you know, maybe $1 Million Man there should be a swerve, and maybe Jake Atlas is the $1 Million champion. No. And then Jake Atlas gets the win. And I'm sorry, man. My apologies for anybody who's gay out there or bisexual. And I think deep down inside, I think a lot of you agree with what I said that night. I know what I'm about to say might be a little bit controversial. But as soon as Jake Atlas won, WWE, because I follow Twitter to see what reactions are and certain things, they had it all typed up and ready to hit send. The minute he pinned LA Knight, what a way to kick off Gay Pride Month. And I looked at that, and even though Jake Atlas was extremely appreciative of it, I think he appeared on the bump after that. And, you know, for those that don't know, Jake Atlas is gay. I have no problem with it. But just me as a person, even though I'm not gay, but me as a person, I said, wow, would Jake Atlas have gotten that win if it wasn't Gay Pride Month? And to me, when I can't truly answer that question, I would not want to get a win simply because I'm white, black, straight, gay, Asian, you know, handicapped, or I got some, you know, I wouldn't want it that way. I want to feel like I got to win because I earned it and deserved it and worked hard for it. Not just because I was gay. And look what's happened since. Look what's happened. Does it feel like any momentum for Jake Atlas at all? No. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sorry if people disagree. I have no malice. I just feel like, you know, man, you know, to have it sit ready to release. It's almost like Poppy yesterday. Oh, Triple H, all I do is hit one button and my music is on. And by the way, you know, Mish and I, we were talking about Poppy in pretty detail. I'm not a fan of her music, but I was listening to some of the older music that Mish had on cue yesterday, and some of the, like, she had like a little 80s vibe with some synthesizers going. And now her latest album, I guess you call it, it's being released on cassette. I freaking love that. I mean, it's no secret. I got boom boxes still. I played video last night of me cranking my boom box that still works. My boom box is like this big. It's about 45 years old. It weighs probably more than Adam Cole. All right, you like all that? But, you know, to put that on cassette, man, that takes a lot of balls. But here, look, I push one button. And WWE on call. Jake Atlas, 1. Referee, 1, 2, click. By the way, yes, everybody and their mother, you know, oh, Poppy is Floyd Mayweather, and Loomis is Paul, and Triple H is, you know, all the fans that paid for that match and this and that. Oh my God, there's all those memes with that. Oh, shut up. My God. Everybody making memes last night. Shit. I thought it was funny though. You know, for those that missed NXT, Dexter Loomis with a very cool drawing of Poppy. And William Regal, I don't know what he was smelling last night. And Triple H, you know, with the over-the-top facial features, Indy Hartwell shows up and she sees Poppy and Dexter Loomis hugging. And then Triple H is like, oh, you got busted. You got busted. I wonder how Indy Hartwell feels about that picture afterwards. I fucking love Dexter Lumis, man. He is still my favorite wrestler in NXT. And the guy, I mean, I understand, and I am in total agreement with a lot of you out there, that they could be doing so much more with Dexter Lumis right now. But, you know, if you're a WWE star, I mean, he's like the Alexa Bliss of NXT. Doesn't have to really wrestle at all right now. Just does some skits in the back. And it's entertaining, and that's it. Not every person has to qualify and have a 4-star match. Eva Marie is going to make her return on Monday. Mission and I didn't even talk about it Monday. And that was for a specific reason. We don't know exactly what she's going to do yet. We don't know if she's going to wrestle. And then if she does, who's going to be the first victim? I think Dana Brooke. But if she wrestles, you know, we got to see. Is she going to troll? Is she going to manage someone? I've heard the rumors, oh, she's going to manage Mercedes Martinez, which makes no sense whatsoever. She's going to manage Angel Garza. Yeah, we talked about that 9 months ago. Somebody could have got pregnant already, had a baby. That's how long we've been talking about that. You know, we don't know what Eva Marie's going to do. Even if she does wrestle, not every person who wrestles has to have a 3-star match. So people overanalyzing it. I love the people that say to others, oh, look at all these people that are all tweeting about Eva Marie to get attention. But they just did the same thing, calling out the others. Just enjoy it. Or don't enjoy it. Let's see what she does first. But Dexter Lumis, think about it. Ever since Halloween Havoc, what is it, Halloween Havoc? With Cameron Grimes. What has he done? Seriously. Oh, the Austin Theory stuff. Most of that was outside the ring. The kidnapping stuff. Dexter Lumis. If I was him, I'd be loving it right now. I got to show up. Oh, my back hurts. My neck hurts. My leg hurts. I got a pimple on the bottom of my foot. You know, I got a little bit of, what's that, hemorrhoids. I really don't want to work. And then you look at the, you know, the plan for the night. Oh, you're just going to hug Poppy. I'd love to be Dexter Lumis right now. Not that I want to hug Poppy, but everybody has, this is entertainment. Everybody has a different role. And we should have no problem with it whatsoever. So, Dexter should be going after the North American Championship? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But right now they're doing this story. Look at the storyline with Indy Hartwell. Think about how long it's been going. And the only thing that's been happening is he likes me. He doesn't like me. He likes me. He doesn't like me. He likes me. He doesn't like me. I mean, getting a little bit of a headache from it. But meanwhile, 2 or 3 months go by and that paycheck is coming in still like, hell yeah, man. Shit, yeah. I mean, any of you out there, if you had the opportunity to work for a wrestling company and all you need to do for a couple of months is just hug people and draw and hand pictures. I enjoy Lumis still. It was pretty cool to see Doc Hendricks make an appearance yesterday. Yeah, they're using Doc Hendricks as the host this year for NXT TakeOver. I don't think Todd Pettengill is doing it this year. So they're going with in-house, you know. Michael P.S. Hayes, I know some people still don't like him for past comments, but, you know, I haven't heard anything negative about the guy in many, 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 many years. So I look at it more of nostalgic purposes than anything else. So, again, this weekend, we have NXT TakeOver in your house. Yesterday, a lot of what we saw really didn't progress much as far as TakeOver goes. Oney Lorcan over Austin Theory. You know, the crowd is starting to really get behind Austin Theory as a babyface. And Johnny Gargano, the crowd is popping more lately for. So, who knows? Maybe, you know, the way ends up somehow becoming baby faces. I know out of everybody, Candice LeRae is the only one still that a lot of fans are still not getting behind. And I don't know what happens with Io Shirai now. Because Io Shirai, you know, last week, Mish and I, on last Wednesday's show, I made the remark to Mish. I said, oh, Poppy's going to be on next week. You think she's going to bring back Io Shirai? And a lot of people out there thought that, no, that wasn't happening. Sure enough, Candice LeRae not happy about Poppy being there. Poppy goes on the rampway yesterday and says pretty much common sense. I'm not a wrestler, but I know somebody who is. And she brings out Io Shirai, and Io Shirai takes out Candice LeRae. The thing is that Candice LeRae is a tag team champion. Is Io Shirai going to find a partner and go after those tag titles? I have no idea. I don't think Poppy is going to hit the ring. You know, it'd be pretty interesting, but I don't see that. I really don't see that. I could see possibly something where maybe, I even brought this up yesterday on Patreon, that maybe you'll have Io Shirai with Poppy in her corner versus Candice LeRae with Indy Hartwell in her corner, and then Dexter Lumis makes an appearance. I could see possibly that happening. I just don't know if Poppy is going to make a couple of consecutive appearances. But, yeah, Saray suddenly not on. You know, it's only 1 week, but Frankie Monet, you know, that momentum seemed to stop after 1 week. And, oh, my God, the streak is over, everyone. Xia Li makes her return. Now, I looked at it closely. I think Xia Li has got to put a little bit more oomph in her punches, because when she attacked Mercedes Martinez yesterday and she hit Mercedes Martinez twice in the back, honestly, this is what it looked like. Ah! Ah! Seriously, I'm sorry for using this as a prop again, but honestly, it looked like this. She had no strength behind those punches. And when you're suspending disbelief that you're wailing on Mercedes Martinez, you know, needs to be a little bit more than that, in my opinion. And all of you know I am a huge fan of the current character of Xia Li. How many weeks straight did we talk about Xia Li not being used on television? It was about 2 months. Might have even been more than 2 months. So it's nice to see her back, and it's nice to see her on a takeover. This might even be her first takeover. I'm not sure, but maybe. But you got to lay it in there. I agree, SoFly. You got to lay it in there. You know, and let's also be honest. Johnny Gargano yesterday punching into the wind with Pete Dunne. Prove me wrong. You know, Johnny Gargano is one of my favorites. You know, yes, part of the reason why I decided to put this up as a cool prize for our channel members this weekend is because I am a fan of Johnny Gargano, and I think Johnny Gargano gets a lot of slack online. The guy consistently performs excellent in the ring. What else do you want him to do? You want him to do stand-up? I mean, what do you want him to do? I mean, I just think that the guy is, look, before he had that match with Ridge Holland, he got dumped on his head accidentally. You know, I was not into Gargano at all. But, you know, that guy to finish through the match and rough it out, I thought that was a turning point in Gargano's NXT career. And I think deep down inside, I mean, his comedy stuff, the only thing I did not like from back then, and I brought it up before, was those segments they were doing in the house of him and Candice LeRae. And it looked like, I felt like I was getting vertigo. Remember when they were sitting at the table and they were doing all this special effects with the screens? And I'm like, you're giving me goddamn vertigo. Stop with this shit. That was the only stuff. But, I mean, when they were doing the spin the wheel and he had his own wheel and they were playing board games and, come on, all that shit was funny as hell. I mean, the guy truly is funny as hell. I like Gargano. I honestly don't understand. You know, it's funny because the people that I notice can't stand Gargano at all, most of them can't stand Seth Rollins either. I don't know what it is. I don't know if, you know, why that is, but I noticed the pattern that a majority of the people that, you know, I'm not saying just don't like. I'm talking about can't stand Gargano. They also cannot stand Rollins. I mean, just go out of their way to shit on these guys. Harris B, what's going on? SoFly, Austin Nance, James Edward, One Fall, Psycho 187, Twix. I'm sorry for being a little bit hard on you last Friday, about he really didn't punch. Because I know you could take a joke. So, by the way, Friday, I will be here at 10 o'clock p.m. sharp. We will do another live watch-along for AEW Dynamite. We will also recap SmackDown. AEW's rating, and yes, we briefly commented about it on Monday. I definitely want to say it here again tonight because Wednesdays is everything but Raw and SmackDown. AEW, no excuse for such a horrendous rating last Friday. I mean, there is an excuse. Going into Double or Nothing, they gave us on advertised matches that belonged on AEW Dark. No disrespect against some of the people that performed, but they thought they could get away with just the hype of Double or Nothing and just gave us matches that honestly, you just, I got to see that first run live. No. I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll watch it Sunday, Monday. I don't know if I wouldn't. Why Friday night? So you have Double or Nothing, and all the goofs out there blamed it on Memorial Day weekend. It's funny how none of them, before the rating came out, went public and said, AEW's rating this weekend, don't expect it to be good at all. Even though it's Double or Nothing, the lead-in, but Memorial Day, everybody kept silent. When the rating came out 2 weeks ago and it was shit, everybody was like, AEW expected it. Yeah, they expected it. 500,000+. They expected that. So now last week, there is no Memorial Day weekend. And what did they do? 462? 462? Now, for people that are rubbing it in, that are not AEW fans, those are the people that I swear to God, if I hit lotto tomorrow, I would definitely dedicate some money to the poor and send to some worthy causes. But I would buy every single one of those goofs, one of those Roman Reigns Acknowledge Me shirts. And seriously, I am so tempted. I already ordered a couple of shirts. I was so tempted to get an Acknowledge Me shirt. And underneath the me, I want to take pictures of some of these absolute loser goofs out there in podcast land and put their head right underneath the Acknowledge Me. But then again, after getting my test results Saturday, I was like, you know what? I'd rather just focus on the positive stuff and having fun with all of you out there. And I appreciate the kind words on Monday. Trust me, I'm not looking for any attention. But I think I kind of didn't explain it clear enough on Monday because I got a boatload of emails from you since Monday like, DT, glad you're okay. Glad you're okay. And I got into it yesterday in a little more detail because Tuesdays we could pretty much talk about whatever on Patreon. It's very, very off the cuff and we get more personal there. I got it. You know what I mean? It's just that, and I don't want to start explaining Gleason scores or anything like that, but, it came back that I do have it. But the Gleason score came back as a 6, which means that, yes, it could grow, but right now there's very little chance of it spreading. So I have plenty of time to decide what I want to do. Do I want to get the seed? Do I want to get surgery? Do I want to wait and do my blood test every couple of months, and then if it elevates a little bit more, then do something about it? So it sucks. It sucks. But now since we know what's going on, that's it. I want to just focus on having fun with everybody here. So, the hell with the goofs. But, but AEW, there's no excuse to only have 426,000. Because even if it is a late Friday night, and even though we're now getting into summertime, and a lot of COVID restrictions are loosened in a lot of areas, you still have hardcore AEW fans. And this is something that nobody will ever touch because they don't want to lose those over-the-top likes. You know, the people out there that, you know, oh, I'm melting. AEW has a core, hardcore audience of about 700,000 fans. 800,000 that religiously will watch AEW week after week after week after week. And believe me, I don't want to compare ECW to AEW, but I know for a fact that I was such an ECW fan that when they aired on the Prime Network, 2 o'clock in the morning, every Saturday night, I set my freaking alarm clock for 10 to 2 or 10 to 3, whatever it was, and I got up and I watched it. I VCR'd it. I still have all my VCR recordings, but I still did not want to wait until Sunday morning. I wanted to watch it firsthand. And I got up week after week after week after week and watched it and enjoyed every minute of it. So AEW being on at 10 o'clock at night, it's not way past people's bedtimes. There's no school the next day. And the fact that you only had 426,000, what that means is that almost half of your hardcore audience felt that what you offered and advertised in advance was not strong enough for people to watch it immediately. I know Meltzer likes to bring up DVR ratings. Go look at the DVR numbers for that day. If you would have said to me 426,000 watched live or 350,000 watched it live, but 450,000 DVR'd it, then I'd be like, okay, all right, yeah. I mean, more than half the people DVR'd it. They went out for the night, this and that. I get it, totally get it. But I think it was less than 100,000 DVR'd it. So that means almost half of your audience that is hardcore felt that what you put on TV at 10 o'clock on a Friday night was not must-see. Not must-see enough to watch it first run. Not must-see enough to even DVR it and watch it the next morning. So the bottom line is, wrestling has been on at 10 o'clock, midnight, this and that. I mean, but the fact that they only did 426 is very startling. I thought they were going to get about 700. I was beyond incorrect. Now, this Friday, they're advertising a little bit more. Miro versus Evil Uno. No, I didn't take a sip to say that it was shit. But we know who's coming out on that match. Lance Archer is going to wrestle. We have no idea who his opponent is. Cody is making another goddamn announcement for the 55th time since AEW started. You start dissecting this a little bit. You know, this is what happens when you have certain people on AEW that you got this inner circle, pun intended, you have this inner circle of fans online that the lowest of the low that is on AEW Dynamite, they will use words like epic, amazing, unbelievable, awesome, you know, oh, I could watch this over and over again, I'm melting, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, the wrestlers, of course, it feels good, but the people behind the scenes at AEW think, oh my God, so-and-so is, you know, he's got this huge following. And they keep putting them on TV over and over and over again, and the numbers keep sucking and sucking and sucking. But because we're in 2021 and a lot of people out there, acknowledge me, acknowledge me, acknowledge me, acknowledge me. You know, some people like, okay, keep showing me attention. I'll acknowledge you. AEW better put on more quality advertised matches in advance. Because even Pac and Penta versus the Young Bucks last week, although an excellent match, you know, there's a pattern that we all notice that the Young Bucks ain't losing the belts anytime soon. And they have done that formula, in my opinion, too many times. Too many times. How many times over the last year and a half, if the Young Bucks opened an episode of Dynamite and they take on the Butcher and the Blade, Private Party, the Acclaimed, this team, Ray Phoenix and Penta, Ray Phoenix and Pac, Pac and Pac, Pac and Big Mac. You know, you keep doing that over and over again. It's a fun match. It's quality. But when you already know the outcome and it just feels like the same formula over and over again, you're like, you know what? I don't need to see this firsthand. It's not must see. And that's what's happening. So I personally feel AEW and Turner Networks, they're making a critical error by not putting AEW on TBS Wednesday night from 8 to 10 for the next 3 weeks. They're leaving reruns of The Big Bang Theory instead. And if you think, because a lot of people feel this like I did, you know, we have AEW Rampage coming in August. And AEW Rampage is pretty much going to be in this time slot. Friday nights, 10 to 12. So they're trying to get people prepped and used to watching wrestling from 10 to 12. If you can't get 500,000 viewers with your A-list roster, what kind of numbers do you think you're going to get when you have Who Dat versus He Dat? You know, like, you're having a little bit step up. Oh, man. I think they're making critical mistake right now. You know, I personally don't understand why Big Bang Theory is so important for Wednesday night reruns. I mean, 10 o'clock to midnight, you know, we're talking 5 straight weeks, everybody. You know, I brought this up Monday a little bit. You know, back in the day, WWE would be preempted. Not just for Westminster dog shows. They'd be preempted for the U.S. Open. Tennis. A lot of years. And in fact, I mentioned this Monday. I think the first ever 2-hour Raw that ever happened on a Thursday night because Raw didn't air on that Monday because of the dog show. So it was preempted for that Thursday, and they did a 2-hour show, the first 2-hour Raw. I'm pretty sure that that's how it was done. But the thing is, when it aired on Thursday, it was primetime television. When they had Saturday Night Raw, if I remember correctly, it was prime time. They didn't do 10 to midnight. AEW is doing this 5 straight weeks. Now, let me make this clear. When AEW comes back to regular Wednesdays, anybody who, this is why I don't feel too concerned about the numbers right now. I think it's more that AEW could do better with some logistics changes. But overall, you know, there are people out there that are trying to convince people that when they go back to Wednesday night, there's so much damage done that when they go back to Wednesdays, they're only going to draw 500,000-600,000 viewers. These are the same people that told you last year that pro wrestling will never go back to house shows. Do not pay attention to those people. Right now, AEW's problem is what they're offering you on a Friday night is not must-see. That's the problem with Raw. That's the problem with SmackDown. What did the Big T say for comment of the year? Because Jim Parsons has more talent in one pubic hair than the Young Bucks have together. That's your opinion. Look, the Young Bucks are extremely talented. They are extremely talented. Come on. I mean, the Young Bucks are one of the top tag teams in the world. Even though I had a hard time getting used to the video game rules with them, there's no denying, you know, these guys can kill it in the ring. You know, yes, a lot of showboating and a lot of, you know, over-the-top, you know, stunts. But still, I mean, if they toned it back a little bit, I think Young Bucks fans would dislike that. You know, if it's not broken, you don't fix it. There's nothing wrong with the Young Bucks right now. But the problem is AEW put themselves in a bind where everybody knows Miro ain't losing that title anytime soon. Everybody knows Kenny Omega's not losing that title anytime soon. Everybody knows the Young Bucks are not losing the title anytime soon. And now you're hearing rumors of a trios title. They need a secondary singles championship. And I don't consider the TNT championship a secondary title. That is more of like a TV title. I don't even think they have to change the letters because they're going to TBS. They don't need to do that. They're going to still air Rampage on Fridays on TNT. Have the TNT championship defended only on Fridays. Problem solved. Problem solved. They don't have to change the letters. So I don't know how we got on this little rant about AEW, but, you know, this is one thing, and I'm being totally sincere right now, that I take pride in of what I say here. And when you all interact with me, you know, we complain. There's no question. Almost everything I said about AEW right now is complaints. Difference is when you talk about it here, I talk about it here. When you call in, and as we get more callers, and you comment on the YouTube pages or you comment in the chat room, you offer opinions on solutions. It's very easy for people, especially on social media, to just crack jokes and complain and make fun. Anybody can do that. The challenge is put up ways to fix it. That's the thing that a lot of people do not do. So even though we knock it, we try to come up with ideas to repair it. Ideas, spelled I-D-E-A-R-S. Sorry, that's my New York nationality. What the hell's the bird doing? Let's see what Freddie's. I'm telling you. Yeah, look, he has not moved. He has not moved, and he can hear me. There's actually a microphone. I don't want to take the chance of screwing up the audio, but I could actually hit a button and he could hear me. I'll see if he turns around. Let me see. I'll see if he can turn around. Let's see. All right, watch. Freddie. Fred. You hear me? You turning around? Who's that? Who that? Fred. Fred, what's going on, Fred? Hey, you. All right, that's enough. That's enough. I woke his ass up. Now he's like, come on, man, stop teasing me. Tomorrow we'll have better lighting. We'll have bird cam. You know, one time I was on Patreon here, and I had him on my shoulder, and live on video he took a shit right on my shoulder. I made a little GIF file out of it, but he literally just took a big massive dump on my shoulder. It was not good luck. It's not good luck. I don't think AEW needs a hardcore title, by the way. I know a few of you have come up with that. I don't think that's needed. Hardcore title, I mean, they don't follow the rules anyway. I mean, I don't think a hardcore title would be the answer. They need a title for people like Lance Archer. You know, now you got Andrade coming in. Seriously, I have no problem with Andrade signing with AEW. Who do you think he's going to take a title off of right now? Seriously, think about that for a minute. I mean, you look at some of the wrestlers there, there's no way they're cracking through that ceiling. Even Moxley. Moxley, in some ways, is better chasing for the title. Eddie Kingston, perfect example. Eddie Kingston chasing for the belt is 1,000 times better than him having the belt. Although us who are Eddie Kingston fans, we'd love to see him go for a championship. But even with Double or Nothing, when I did predictions, the predictions contest, I think every single one of you predicted the Young Bucks to win that match. Maybe one person didn't. When you see almost divided in the middle of people not sure of who's going to win, that's when you know you're onto something good. When you really can't, unless it's something like Roman Reigns, where everything you're watching is so good that, you know, you don't care about the result. You just want to see how everything is put together. And not everybody could get away with that. I mean, when I was a kid and Hogan was the champion for a couple of years, there were times that we thought there was no way he was losing the belt, and we didn't care. We just wanted to see how it was put together. And as long as, you know, at one point in a match, it'd hit him and he'd be like hulking up, and that's all that everybody cared about. So, anyway, Couple other things. By the way, shout out to La Nostra Famiglia. These are our elite of the elite of our channel members. Welcome to the family, Mad Mex. Welcome to the family, Grapple Vision, which you'll see in a few moments. And look, if any of you out there does want to be a channel member, again, I don't push that on the shows much because I don't want it to come off as an advertising grab. But all you got to do is while you're watching any of the videos, you'll see a box that'll say join. And you could sign up as a channel member and you get, custom emojis. And I'm going to be recording a Q&A, I think tomorrow, for our channel members. I was going to do it today, and then a couple of late questions came in again, so I'll probably do it tomorrow or Friday. And then, like I said, we're going to do the contest this weekend. And then, we put a couple other things up here and there. But, you could go check it out. And if anybody signs up, you could take part in the predictions. I will open the contest up Saturday afternoon, and you'll have until Sunday afternoon to put your entry up. So it's pretty easy. Just predict the winners. And we'll probably do a tiebreaker match. So yesterday, Oney Lorcan beating Austin Theory. Again, Oney Lorcan just doesn't do it for me. Pete Dunne, my feelings on Pete Dunne. The guy's a monster. I still think Pete Dunne versus Karrion Kross is necessary. I almost feel Adam Cole versus Karrion Kross is necessary, but I don't feel that they're going to go that way right now. Because every confrontation, people are going to focus on the promos more than anything else. Now, Hit Row walking past Legado del Fantasma yesterday, teasing that they may go for the tag titles. To me, I don't think that is going anywhere right now. You might see members of Hit Row go up against MSK next. But remember, it was last week when Isaiah Swerve Scott was talking about going for the heavyweight title. So did Tony Storm about the women's title. And so did Zoe Stark and others. This is just to try to make it seem like they will go for any title they want. I think right now they're going to be waiting in line for a while. Even if they take on MSK, unless WWE suddenly thinks that Hit Row is a tremendous hit. I like what they're doing, but there's got to be more of, this custom rap and, the catchphrases. There's got to be a little bit more than that. I'm feeling Hit Row as well, Austin. I like it, but it needs a lot more time. Mercedes Martinez over Cameron Clay yesterday. As I said earlier, Mercedes Martinez comes out for a match. She's attacked by Xia Li, which, it didn't look all that great. But Mercedes Martinez, after she tosses Xia Li over the barricade and everybody holds Xia Li back, which was kind of comical also, because you had all these security guys trying to hold back, 105-pound woman, which, I'm not making fun of Xia Li's size, but it would look a little ridiculous. That's where you needed Tian Sha. And unfortunately, I don't have special effects. You just needed Tian Sha with the Vulcan vape. That's what I call it. She vapes, or he vapes. Are they going to do he, she? Is that what people do? He/she, or he, me, or she, me, whatever it is? Tian Sha, vape. Should have just vaped and have all the security people. Someone's asking, why do I call it the Vulcan vape? Because back when I wasn't even born yet, but when they had the replays in the 70s, I became a fan of Star Trek. Mr. Spock, Brandon Nimoy, is that what his name was? I can't remember Leonard Nimoy. Brandon Nimoy. Where the hell did I get over that? Leonard Nimoy. He'd be like hanging out in a bar, and so he'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with your ears? And he'd be like, oh, let me buy you a drink. Puts his arm around somebody and just does this. Takes his 2 fingers. That's it. So that's what they do with the vape. The vape has some type of powers that it knocks everybody out. That's what should have had the Vulcan vape yesterday. Mercedes Martinez just knocks out Cameron Clay with a kick and gets the win. I don't know how I feel about this match. I don't know where I got Brandon Nimoy from. You know, I think I got that from, dude. Seriously, SoFly, Mets, because I'm starting to get into the Mets a little bit more now, and I was thinking of, was it Brandon Nemo? I think that's where I got it from. I think that's where, subconsciously. The Grizzled young veterans with the grizzled teeth, they beat August Gray and Ikemen Jiro. I call it Hiro. I still can't say gyros or heroes. Is that what it is? Like the Greek food, you know, on the pita bread? I still call it gyros. Every time I call my Greek place, like, let me get a lamb gyro. Oh, you want a lamb hero? Hero. But that match really didn't do anything. Then you had Ciampa and Thatcher sitting at ringside. And, you know, the good as young veterans, they're like, we don't want to do anything with you anymore. So, you know, talk about people who could, like, change their mind like this. Ciampa's like, oh, how's about we fight you in a tornado match next week? Okay. I mean, they cut this promo. We don't want nothing to do with you anymore because we are sued. Oh, we like tornadoes. How's about we kick your ass next week in a tournament? Okay. So that's what we got next week. I like Thatcher and Ciampa, but it's still the grizzled young veterans. Oh, my God. Ember Moon over Dakota Kai by DQ. A lot of people frustrated. Ember Moon can't even get a clean pin right now. By the way, Shotzi Blackheart apparently has somewhat of an injury. That's why you're not seeing her get active right now. Look, I know they're trying hard. You even had a moment yesterday when Poppy and Io Shirai will walk into the back. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez will walk in the opposite way, and Io and Raquel exchanged a couple of words. I don't know if we're going to see a rematch. I don't know. But as much as I like Ember Moon, and I have defended her a lot more than a lot of others out there, there ain't no chance Ember Moon is winning Sunday. There ain't no chance whatsoever. They tried to make this seem like something could happen. That could possibly, there's no way. And you look at all of the women in NXT, you're giving Ember Moon her shot, fine. And then what? I mean, Toni Storm, when she fought against Zoe Stark 2 weeks ago, you know, I mean, we all saw it a mile away. We're like, Toni Storm has to win that one. Her record in NXT was like 0-10. So she won. And I still don't know what the hell that move finisher was that Toni Storm hit. If it wasn't a botch, that is one of the coolest moves that I've seen. It's like a modified, like, brainbuster type move. But, you know, this women's division in NXT suddenly doesn't feel very competitive. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But, you know, Io Shirai is back, and I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with her, with Candice LeRae, or if she's going to go and get a rematch with Raquel. And even if she does, she's not winning this belt back anytime soon. They got to start planting the seed a little bit further of Dakota Kai breaking away from Raquel Gonzalez. So we'll see what happens. Look, I like Ember Moon, Psycho. I absolutely like her. Look, she gets a bad break from a lot of people out there. But I like her work. But you just look at how they need to push Raquel Gonzalez. They got to make her an unstoppable force. And having her lose the belt wouldn't help. I mean, it would just really, I mean, you got to keep that belt on. When you had that pose with Rhea Ripley and Raquel and Bianca Belair, you know, you look at those three in the ring, maybe Rhea Ripley is the one that could lose the title the soonest and would not lose any credibility in a lot of people's eyes. But you ain't taking that belt off of Bianca Belair, and you ain't taking that belt off of Raquel Gonzalez. So that is a problem also. When all the champions, and that suspension of disbelief feels like nobody is losing a belt, that is really, really difficult to get a lot of interest behind. Look at Legado del Fantasma. We just had Legado take on MSK for the tag titles. We've had this interaction with them over and over and over and over. And as the weeks go by, it feels like more and more and more the fans are getting behind Legado. A lot of you have pointed it out. It's not that we don't like MSK. I am big fans of MSK. I have their shirt. Not because I want them to send me a DMO. Thank you for the support. Oh, very cool shirt. No, I wear it because to show that I support what they're doing. I like them as a team. But even I will say it, that for the last month, standing next to Bronson Reed doesn't help as much as you think it does. Bronson Reed ain't losing that belt anytime soon. So now you do this winner-take-all Sunday. MSK and Bronson Reed versus Legado del Fantasma. Whoever gets the pin, that team wins all the belts. So everybody think Bronson Reed is losing the belt this quick? No. So, I mean, where's the suspense? So this Sunday's pay-per-view, I think, is going to be one of the most predictable pay-per-views in a very, very long time. And I know we've said that recently as well. But I think, even for the contest that we do, I think it's going to come down to the tiebreaker. I think it's going to come back down to the tiebreaker. Unless I make a couple of creative bonus questions up. Right now, there's just 5 matches. And I tell you, the only match that people are unsure about is for the $1 million belt. Yesterday, you know, they did a rip-off of MTV Cribs with LA Knight. If anybody remembers MTV Cribs, you knew exactly what I was talking about yesterday. But LA Knight in the posh suite showing off all the money he's got. It's funny how everybody drives white cars. I understand, for some reason, rich and famous when it comes to cars. For me, I had a white LSE, but I wasn't a millionaire. That car wasn't worth all that much. I thought it was worth a lot. It wasn't. But me, give me a nice, black, really nice car, completely waxed out, where the paint looks wet. To me, that looks 1,000 times better driving by with a white car. I remember somebody telling me a long time ago, buy a white car, so when it's dirty, you really can't notice it all that much. So, yeah, MTV Cribs was good back in the day. So they exchanged, you know, having money, having the ladies, you know, Cameron Grimes, you know, in the pool. And, you know, you could see now Cameron Grimes, they're kind of moving towards babyface territory. If you really pay close attention to Cameron Grimes' promo in the ring yesterday, a lot of what he does, he's still in that mode of being a heel. Because almost all the time, he's been a heel. And even when he was cutting that promo yesterday and saying some of the stuff he said, it was annoying. Like, shut the fuck up. But as soon as he said, the fans, that's it. As soon as you say the fans, that's it. Oh, we're included. He acknowledged me. Acknowledge me. So as soon as he made that comment about the fans yesterday, boom, everybody's like, okay, babyface promo. LA Knight, obviously, is not meant to be a babyface. Cameron Grimes is more of a pain in the ass than anything else. But, you know, look, he's growing on me a little bit. And now they're doing the ladder match with the $1 million championship. Going to be suspended in the air. Whoever going to be the $1 million champion. The wealth of some people out there in wrestling. And some people, especially when they're single, they spend their money maybe a little bit reckless. I mean, Baron Corbin, he does save his money now, by the way. I don't pay attention closely to his bankroll, but some of his business decisions, he's very intelligent with that. Corbin, if you actually learn a lot of the business side of Corbin, he actually does manage his money now very well. But several years ago, and he bought that Ferrari, and he bought some fucking watch. He could not wait to use that to put in people's faces online because he was triggered early on by anybody who would criticize him. And for me, the only thing I thought was the funniest was that his belly always looked like a fish that I used to own. You know, Red Devil, whatever it is. Look at Corbin's tummy. I actually put it side by side once. His belly button actually looked like a Red Devil's mouth. But Joey Numbers, who referees matches, who is in wrestling, and when Joey Numbers was giving some legit constructive criticism about Corbin, Corbin's response was a picture of his watch. You don't have this. Picture of his car. You don't have this. You think any of us gave a shit that he had a nice watch or a nice car? You know? How you know when people are very, very triggered is when they show you superficial things or they show you nothing. There are a lot of people that do that. They will put in your face a whole bunch of superficial things like, haha, I have this and you don't. Because the comment, oh, you're just jealous that I'm on TV and I'm a wrestler and you're not. That kind of gets played out now because not everybody wants to be a wrestler. No, not everybody wants to be a star on TV. Some people are very content just enjoying themselves and having a good inner circle, quality friends, quality family, a decent job, bills paid, roof over their head, food, and that's it. That's it. I mean, when you see a lot of this shit going on in the news, why would you want to go out and have fun? You know, all you got to do is just get involved with the wrong person, you know? Scary shit going on there. I mean, thank God COVID is starting to come to an end. But once COVID is out of here, then the real fun begins. Because you're going to see people who have been just physically and emotionally locked up, you know, in like just a social media bubble. And some people just not going to know how to act outside. I see it already. Like, you know, I want to go to Florida and I want to, you know, start hanging out with you guys. In fact, yesterday on Patreon, I don't know if you're all aware of this, but last year in February, we had an event called The Big Event, big autograph signing. I was there. Mish was there. Shaheen, a bunch of others were there. Met some of you as well, hung out, had a great time. This was right before COVID went full blown. There was concerns about COVID, but this was February, and we still didn't know. It wasn't a pandemic yet. We just started hearing about it. And my God, back then, anybody that was at Big Event knows. I mean, when you walked by to, like, tables, there were people right in your face like this the whole time. I remember I brought this up. Mish and I went to go buy bottled water, I think for Jimmy Hart and for J.J. Dillon. We had to walk like one side of the building to the other. And the entire time that we walked, we were in people's faces like this. I don't know how that event was not a super spreader. But they're returning to Elmhurst, Queens in November. And Stan Hansen has already been announced. JBL has already been announced. Emma will be there. But they just announced Aleister Black will be there. And I tell you, the prices are fairly reasonable. If you want a autograph photo from Aleister Black and a picture with him, $70. That's not that bad if you think about it. JBL, I think an autograph and a picture with him also, I think is $60. And you could get just a Polaroid as well. You don't need to get autographs. So they're going to start really stacking this up. And I think there may have been some other names announced as well, but I know those names for sure. So if any of you live in my neck of the woods, you know, it's going to be the middle of November. It's in Elmhurst, Queens, and I'm going to be there. I've already asked Mish if he wants to be there. I'm sure a few other podcasters would not be surprised if Jason goes. JD from New York will probably go, I think, as well. You know, we're going to try to get everybody together. And look, we're only in June, July, August, September, October, November, you know, 5 months. And I will bet you the fucking ranch, you will have a bunch of people out there, the usual suspects that'll, for the next 4 months, yeah, I'll go. I'm definitely going to be there. Definitely, yeah, absolutely, definitely. just to soak in for 4 months. Everybody like, oh my God, can't wait to hang out. Can't wait to see you there. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Oh, this is going to be epic. This is going to be amazing. I'm going to melt them, blah, 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 blah. And a week or two before, excuse. Happens every time. When I was doing indie stuff, bus trips for XPW, had a bunch of guys back in the day that were doing hotlines. Oh, I'm there. Oh, absolutely, I'm there. They didn't even have to pay. They were my guests on the bus trips. But they felt that it was beneath them to take something from me for free. So they soaked it in for about 2-3 months from all the people that called hotlines. Oh, I can't wait. We're all going to hang out. I can't wait. The only 2 people that ever showed up was Joey 924 and Black Moses. I hung out with them. They showed up twice. And we had an awesome time. As much as I joked about Joey 924 over the years, he was pretty damn cool when I saw him in person. And we had a great time. So I really true hope that, if you guys are around in my neck of the woods in November, that, we get together. And, yeah, I'll wear one of my Don Tony shirts so people could see, who. But I'm telling you, man, when we went to Lucky 13, it's now what, 3 years? 2.5 years. It was March of 2019. And to see Jason there and to see some others. And there was a few of you that I wasn't even friendly with at the time. I mean, that was awesome, man. It was awesome. I recorded an hour's worth of footage from that night, and it was amazing. It was a feeling that night that I wish you could bottle, never feel that way again. So I hope we could all get together. Seriously. And, Florida, it's definitely being discussed. I'd like to go to Florida sometime in September or October. If I go to Florida, it's going to be for an NXT event and possibly an AEW event if they're going to be in Florida at the same time. So I want to start planning accordingly. AEW is going to be in Illinois in September, and I've already asked Mish twice if he's going to go. I would really love to go there because the last time they were in Chicago, I had tickets. I posted online my plane fare and my hotel. I had everything booked, and then everything fell through. AEW refused to give me press pass. I didn't need it. I would have paid my way. But, just the fact that nobody would respond to me, I was like, I might be an asshole and I might have said some dumb things over the years. But, I'm a big fan of what they do and I want to see it get better. And, I don't expect to be treated any special way. But if you're going to flat out just ignore all my requests, then no, I will not even put a moment of my time into the show. It was funny the other day. I was laughing my ass off. Somebody on YouTube was talking about podcasters who have been around for a while. And somebody mentioned my name and said, oh, yeah, Don Tony, he's one of the OGs. And me, just to be a jerk, I responded back and I said, no, sir, you are wrong. I am the OG. I've been around since 97. No one has even 10 years, didn't start even 10 years during that time. You guys see all the people that got triggered over that. The fuck does this guy think he is? So probably going to come out with a shirt that says, I'm not an OG, I am the OG. Just to be a jerk. Probably won't sell. Maybe I'll buy it for myself, but. Austin Nance. My thoughts on Lio Rush. Talked about it yesterday a little bit. For those that don't know, Lio Rush announced his retirement. I know this is not the first time. He suffered an injury at Double or Nothing. He has a family. Injuries suck. Serious injuries when it comes to knees and shoulders and arms, they are extremely tough. They are hard to rehab, hard to come back from, and very painful. And Lio Rush, what people need to understand, and I saw what Greg Hamilton said. I follow Greg Hamilton. And by the way, I'm sorry for making this announcement 3 shows in a row, but I think a lot of you out there may still not be aware. I am now on Twitter again, 150%. I will not pay attention to the goofs anymore. I will not even write about them on social media anymore. I had a talk with somebody who does wrestle on TV, who reached out to me on Saturday. He's like, hey, man, I was just reaching out to see, how you doing with the, prostate issue. And, I told him, and he's like, dude, why don't you mingle a little bit more online with all of your family, friends out there? And I said, social media is so toxic, and I don't even want to, waste my time. And he's like, look, it's as toxic as you want it to be. He's like, just focus on the people that are not toxic and let the other ones just ride. And, I started thinking about it. I was like, that's fucking right, man. So for all of you out there that socialize on Twitter, if you want to follow at Don Tony D, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to send a follow back. There will be a few that I may have second thoughts about simply because I go by the phrase, the friend of my enemy is also my enemy. But for a lot of you out there that have always said, how come you don't talk or this and that, you might notice for the last 3 days I have done a total 180 on that. So we're going to have fun, and we're going to talk about cool things, and we will crack jokes once in a while. But as far as the toxic atmosphere, that you will not see that on my page. So anyway, getting back to Lio Rush. I needed to say that because of this. Greg Hamilton apparently doesn't like Lio Rush very much. Lio Rush announced he is retiring from wrestling. He suffered an injury at Double or Nothing. The injury is serious enough where the amount of pain and the amount of rehab and, at the stage of his life, and this is what people need to understand. Greg Hamilton is an announcer for WWE. Greg Hamilton could tear his groin, could tear his shoulder, could tear his ass in pieces. As long as Greg Hamilton could still announce people, he's fine. Lio Rush, promoters are not tearing tearing up his phone, trying to book him. The amount of interest, the amount of money that's being offered right now, obviously because COVID hurt a lot of promotions as well, and they're going to be very, very conservative, in the finance department for a while. They're not knocking down Lio Rush's doors. And Lio Rush has to worry about his family. He mismanaged his money in the past, and Lio Rush has decided that he's got to focus on other projects to take care of his family. I respect that 200%. Do I think Lio Rush will be retired permanently in wrestling? No, I think Lio Rush will be back. But right now, Lio Rush is realizing that staying in wrestling and rehabbing and making a comeback, may not pay the bills. He realizes what his responsibilities are. And I respect that 100%. Greg Hamilton, was more superficial, thinking that I think Lio Rush was blowing smoke. I don't think Greg Hamilton even realized what Lio Rush's injury was. I thought it was a little disrespectful on his part, but, hey, nobody's perfect out there. So I'm not going to bash Greg Hamilton, and I'm not going to praise him either, but I wish Lio Rush the best. I wish him the best. And good for him to realize what his priorities are. AEW issued a statement wishing him well. And, it's a shame. It's a shame. Lio Rush is extremely talented. And unfortunately, an injury has derailed him. And we'll see what happens. But for the time being, Lio Rush is going to be done in wrestling. So that's it. Let's do predictions for NXT Takeover. We're already at 90 minutes, believe it or not. I want to start wrapping this up because tomorrow we have a really fun show. By the way, a couple of you reached out to me with some software. of all the indie wrestling footage that I've showed so far, if anybody's noticed, the quality is pretty shitty. It was not professional cameras. The DVDs were not professionally done because these are indie promotions and they can't afford that expense. But there are programs out there where you can actually upgrade the quality of these shows to like 60 frames per second and upgrade the quality, the color, and everything like that. So in the next week or two, I'm going to take some of the footage that I've not shown yet, and I'm going to try to upgrade the video quality before I play any more. So if I'm successful in doing this, I'm going to remaster everything. And we'll put different clips online, and we'll have some fun with that. So in about a week or two, we'll resume showing some of that stuff, and I hope to put some, better quality video out there. So that's probably going to be my next thing that I'm looking forward to. So I'm going to get into Takeover predictions now, answer a couple of super chats that came in, and then we'll talk briefly about Mickie James and NWA. Because it was something I said yesterday that I got a lot of feedback from on Patreon, and I want to share it here. Just to throw it out there, because I love having conversations. Did you see today? Yes, I will gloat about it tomorrow and Friday. Did you see all these websites that are now saying that WWE is going to treat SummerSlam as this year's WrestleMania? For the last 4 weeks in a row, I have been doing rants on all of the shows that WWE is going to make SummerSlam this year's WrestleMania, and then the draft will happen shortly thereafter. And remember all those rants? Once WWE realized that they were going to have live fans back in the summertime, WrestleMania was no longer WrestleMania as far as new storylines, new feuds, big matches. SummerSlam is now going to be in a 70,000-seat arena, and they are going to treat SummerSlam bigger than WrestleMania because the restrictions will be lifted, because live fans will be back, and that is where you're going to see some of the mega matches. Came out today, and I got so many DMs from people like, this is exactly what you were talking about for 4 straight weeks. So I thought that was awesome, man. I thought it was awesome. But I want to say something about Mickie James tonight that I think will be interesting for a lot of you out there. Thank you, Craig. Craig, I'll acknowledge you in a moment. Because we only got 5 matches for TakeOver, and this should be pretty easy to go through. Bronson Reed and MSK versus Legado del Fantasma. MSK and Bronson Reed's championships are all on the line. Winner take all. Whoever wins the match, they get the belts. There is no way you're going to remove the title from Bronson Reed this soon. And the fact that you put a stipulation where everybody's belts lose, not just one, there's no way MSK are losing their belts either. So there is no doubt whatsoever Bronson Reed and MSK will retain their titles. Where this leaves Legado del Fantasma after this, I have no idea. But I'm going to be really curious to see how that crowd reacts towards MSK and Legado del Fantasma on Sunday. But Reed and MSK will win. Raquel Gonzalez defending the NXT Women's Championship against Ember Moon. Another match. Clear cut. There is no way they are going to rock Raquel's. They will not rock Raquel's momentum right now. She worked her ass off for a year and a half. Fans watched it in real time. You paid attention to our shows the last year and a half. We all were enjoying this transformation, this improvement of Raquel Gonzalez. As much as I like Ember Moon, you do not rock, pun intended, you do not rock that boat, the Gonzalez boat, for Ember Moon. If there was somebody, diamond in the rough, that somebody could say, I could see Raquel or I could see this person be champion right now, then I could say, okay, maybe. There ain't no way Ember Moon is going to overtake Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez will retain that title. Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li. Xia Li had so much momentum. Loved what they were doing. Loved the interaction with Casey Catanzaro and some of the other ass kickings that she delivered. And then she disappeared for 2 months. Right when they had their last takeover, she was gone. 2 months. Little vignettes, not enough for me. Then all of a sudden, Mercedes Martinez is on TV. The lights go out, comes back on. She's got the logo on her hand, just like Casey Catanzaro had it. And then they tie the two together, the Mae Young Classic, when Mercedes Martinez kind of humiliated Xia Li. So Xia Li wants revenge. As much as I have been a fan of Mercedes Martinez for almost 20 years, there's no way you're going to create even more damage to Xia Li like they have done over the last 2 months. The only thing we've seen in 2 months was vaping. Vaping. We've seen nothing. They went from these crazy videos where her and Boa were being almost tortured to nothing. I didn't like the idea of this match 2 weeks ago because I thought there's no way Mercedes Martinez goes out on top on this one. But Mercedes Martinez has had such an awesome career. She does not lose any credibility with losing this match. Xia Li obviously needs a win here badly. So I'm going to go with Xia Li to beat Mercedes Martinez. Mike, I've heard the rumors about Mercedes being Eva's bodyguard. Look, there are so many people assuming things about Eva Marie. Like I said earlier, that's why Mish and I didn't even talk about Eva Marie on Monday. She's going to debut next Monday. Let's see what she does, and then we talk about it. She's going to be this much involved on a 3-hour show. People are trying to blow it up like she's going to shake up the WWE. Just because she's got an unbelievable body, a nice ass, nice legs, nice tits, and people whack off. Unfortunately, you know, that's what's on people's minds. You think people are out there to see her do drop kicks? No. They're going out there because they're infatuated with her looks. And, oh, that was pretty weird. I saw, like, in the background, like, something happened with the bird. He's still there. He's still there after all of this. And again, if you think this is a still frame, watch. I'm going to hit the mic again. I'm going to hit the mic, watch. See if he turns around. Fred! Fred, what's going on? Fred, do you hear me? Turn around. Hey, Fred. Were you sleeping? Wake up. Freddie. He's looking. Yeah. Maybe I'll show you the video tomorrow of him taking a dump on me. That's Fred Cam, by the way, everyone. That is Fred Cam. I can leave it in the corner, but it's late at night, so he's kind of tired. He's going to start zoning off soon. I actually can make him close his eyes, but we'll do that tomorrow night. I actually say a couple of words to him, and if I say it like 5 times in a row, he'll close his eyes. I will bet you tomorrow he'll close his eyes. I'm not even joking. He will start shutting his eyes, but we're not doing that here. Let's talk about predictions a little bit more. So with Eva Marie, you know, she's going to be this much of the show. Let's see what she does. That's it. As far as her being a, you know, Mercedes Martinez being a bodyguard and stuff like that, I'll believe it when I see it. Mercedes Martinez, I think, is better fit for NXT. I think we should leave it that way. But Mercedes is not winning against Xia Li. Mei Ying. That's the name of the third character in Tianxia. Mei Ying. Mei Ying, who loves the vape. Vaping is not good for you. The match that I am so undecided about right now is Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. Ted DiBiase will be there, obviously. It's going to be a ladder match. The $1 Million Championship will be suspended in the air. Whoever grabs the title is the $1 Million Champion. Now, you know me, I'm always up for nostalgia. No problem with Sting returning. No problem seeing a legend from yesteryear making an appearance once in a while, as long as it doesn't become the focal point of a show. The Ted DiBiase stuff I thought was kind of corny. When you had to pipe in so many cheers because fans were not reacting, I thought that said a lot. But it's, you know, it's nice to see a legend once in a while, and Ted DiBiase could still do the laugh. If Ted couldn't do the laugh, you would not see him back right now. The last time we had the $1 Million Championship really portrayed in any way, I remember somebody that was not so stunning at the time, you know, and that didn't seem to work out all that great. Here it's a little different because LA Knight, they're establishing his character as being a rich guy. And the same thing with Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes is more of, I always use the comparison in the movie The Jerk, where Cameron Grimes suddenly came into money, doesn't know what to do with it. That's how I interpret Cameron Grimes. So you got money behind the storyline. Steve Austin back then, it wasn't about money. He could wrestle like $1 million, but nobody cared about the $1 million belt in that way. This is more of, and let me tell you something, you got to be also careful about this title. And look, I'm not trying to be PC right now, but what people also need to realize is, you know, in a world, hear me out. Don't think I'm losing it, but I think some people understand what I mean. In a world where white privilege and a lot of money don't seem to go all that well together. Yes, this is wrestling. Yes, this is a storyline. Yes, it is entertainment. But trust me when I tell you, being a rich white guy with $1 million championship, you better be prepared for what comes with it. What I mean by that is LA Knight, if LA Knight becomes the $1 million champion, LA Knight will be able to handle himself. But you know you will have people that will just despise the character simply because of the climate that we live in. Cameron Grimes, that's why they're using his character almost like a goof, a southern goof who bet on some, you know, crypto and hit it big, you know, or these other stocks. By the way, thank you everybody who talked to me publicly and privately. Told you last year in March or April. Told you 2 weeks ago. I told you, you do not listen, not trying to be a jerk, but you do not listen to social media and how it's the wrong thing for WWE to be releasing people during a pandemic. I am not praising WWE for PC, or I praise them for smart business. And again, I explained to everyone what budget cuts mean. People seem to think that budget cuts only happen when you're losing money. Anybody out there that manages their money the right way, they put budget aside every month. We could spend this amount of money towards food. We could spend this amount of money towards bills. We could spend this amount of money towards insurance. We could spend, and if you stick to that or close to it, that leaves you money left over to save and other things. And when you stick to it and you're very responsible, that's how you have more money. So I explain to everyone that what WWE is doing is smart business. Until the outside world starts talking about WWE possibly up for sale, do not pay attention to all these podcasters that keep bringing it up. Because if the finance world is not talking about WWE up for sale, they're the ones that follow this. WrestleJobber.com, you know, that's just them trying to get attention. But all these releases is making WWE look very, very smart, managing their money, reinvesting, making more. Do you know that the WWE stock today went up over 10%? It went up over 10%. There was one point today where the stock went up 20%. Not $1, not $2, but went up at one point over $20. This is the difference between people who tweet or say, this is terrible, releasing this person during a pandemic, or you're firing all these people and you have record profits. Most of those people can't even handle a paper route. Unfortunately, having money is very cold. But people that have money want to make more. And they make more, they spend more, or they could reinvest it. So take note of that today. Yep. WWE stock at the end of the day went up almost 11%. 11%. Everybody was telling you that this is horrible what WWE is doing. The investors are the ones that reflect this. The investors see what WWE is doing. They're not going to say, how dare they release all these people? I'm selling my stock. For what? For Twitter likes? WWE is a business. Plain and simple. It's a business. AEW is a business as well. AEW is not a publicly traded company. So AEW can handle things a little bit differently. By the way, take notice, Alex Abrahantes, still on TV. I think that'll change in the very near future. But for some reason, the usual suspects don't want to talk about that topic. So, getting back to Cameron Grimes and LA Knight, there's going to be people out there that are going to be turned off with the character simply because of the culture that we live in. It does reflect pro wrestling in a lot of ways. Some people out there feel that certain groups do not get pushed simply because of certain things. So if LA Knight wins that $1 million championship and walks around bragging that he's got all this money and this and that, I mean, we understand it's entertainment. But some people will just dislike the character for the simple reason of the stereotypes that it represents. Cameron Grimes being a $1 million champion, they are going out of their way to make it look like Cameron Grimes is just a hillbilly that got lucky and ended up coming into money. I personally think it could go as quickly as that in the storyline, and it'll be pretty interesting to see Cameron Grimes no longer a millionaire, but has the $1 million championship. What happens? Does Ted DiBiase ultimately show up and yank that title away from him? You're a disgrace. You're disgusting. That would get so much sympathy for Cameron Grimes. So they could go two totally different ways with this $1 million championship. Before I tell you my prediction in that match, for everybody who is live in the chat room right now, if you don't mind, just write very quickly, who do you think is going to win that $1 million championship? You could just write LA or Grimes or Knight or Grimes. I'm curious to see what you all out there think, because again, you could go both ways with this, and those are the matches I enjoy the most, where you really are not sure. You might have an idea, but when you're really not sure who's going to win, those are the most fun. SoFly says LA Knight. Austin Nance says LA Knight. Chris says LA Knight. Lion Nero Fay also says LA Knight. Benjamin, Ramsey, and James Edward, along with Storm Force Gamer, says LA Knight. We got 2 votes for Cameron Grimes, Keyvon Lewis, and Rojo Bear. Garth Overstein and VJ, LA Knight. Mickey Hodge, LA Knight. So about 80, 90% are all going with LA Knight. Philip Promotus is LA Knight. Sam says Cameron Grimes. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing when you think about that. Now, let's recap the other 3 matches so far. We got Bronson Reed and MSK retaining. So that match, babyfaces win. You got Raquel Gonzalez winning over Ember Moon, heel technically. So a 1-1. Xia Li beating Mercedes Martinez. 2 heels, 1 babyface as far as match results go. Then you got the main event. So with that said, I don't think we're going to have 3 of the 4 matches end with heels winning. But then again, when you think about it, as far as titles go, I'm going to go with LA Knight. I'm going to go with LA Knight. seeing him walk around with the $1 Million Championship. See, Ted DiBiase is not going to be there every single week. I don't want anybody to think that Ted DiBiase is going to be there on a weekly basis after that. He'll make an appearance here and there. Wow, I'm kind of torn with this one. The fact that Ted DiBiase will not be there for a lot of weeks. LA Knight walking to the ring with the $1 Million Championship. No, I'm going to go Cameron Grimes. I could see it, though. I know what you're all thinking. Cameron Grimes falls this much short, and everybody has sympathy for Cameron Grimes. So by losing, oh, man. Wow. This is rough. This is tough. I love it when we're so unsure. But almost all of you out there going with LA Knight. I could see LA Knight taking this title, but I'm trying to picture the following week when LA Knight comes out there. Does this title get defended? I don't think it gets defended. Man, I know I'm overthinking it, Chris. I'm overthinking because I don't like being wrong. I don't ever like being wrong. You think one lousy match, oh, so what? We're wrong. You know what? I'm going to go with LA Knight. I'm going to stick with LA Knight. Man, trying to picture this. I'll go with LA Knight. Fuck it. I want Cameron Grimes to win. But I could just picture, oh, man. I'm going to go with LA Knight. We'll stick with it. LA Knight. Kind of regretting that choice, but I'm going to go with LA Knight. Now the main event. I brought it up earlier. Karrion Kross defending the NXT Heavyweight Championship against Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano. I'm surprised at so many people that think that this match is set up so Karrion Kross could lose the belt without being pinned. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's absolutely stupid, in my opinion. They don't want Karrion Kross and Adam Cole go one-on-one. They don't want Kross and Pete Dunne to go against each other yet. And they're using this match to hybrid other feuds. You're keeping the Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole feud alive a little bit. Pete Dunne has a little bit of history as well, even though I think Bobby Fish may actually get involved in this match as well. I think Karrion Kross retains. I don't even think it's close. I think Karrion Kross retains. And by having it a 5-way match, Adam Cole doesn't have to be pinned. Pete Dunne doesn't have to be pinned. I almost feel Johnny Gargano might be the one to get pinned out of all of this, and it might end up being because of something backfiring. I just do not feel that taking the title off of Karrion Kross for whatever reason right now is a wise thing to do. I mean, people saying, oh, let him lose and go to Raw or SmackDown and be a major player there. Just take a step back for a minute. This is coming from a person who is a huge supporter of Karrion Kross. The motherfucker can't even get 100 people inside NXT to chant for him. And what are you going to do? Put him in front of 30,000 on Raw or SmackDown? I mean, just think about that for a minute. You want the guy to have crazy-ass momentum going to the main roster. You don't want to have it where he never got to establish identity. Why? Because he has an awesome entrance and a beautiful woman by his side, and he's got a great look. Oh, that's it. That's it. I'm sold. No, that's not how it works. Those are the people that'll convince you that the stock should plummet because of all the releases they're doing. You need to take your time with Karrion Kross. They know they have something special with this guy. This guy is definitely a diamond in the rough. let it develop. Let it shine. Let it get momentum. I mean, think about this. You remember a month ago that people actually believed that Karrion Kross might face John Cena? I mean, people actually believed that because of, a tweet or stirring the pot. I mean, people fall for all gullible things. Let's keep it in reality for a minute. Karrion Kross needs to develop his character further. Beating 4 top stars in NXT is a great way to do that. He doesn't have to pin Adam Cole. He doesn't have to pin Pete Dunne. There could be controversy. There could be a faux pas. There could be 1,000 things. But in the record books, Karrion Kross beat 4 top guys. Karrion Kross needs this win. Plain and simple. Karrion Kross will retain his championship. That's it. Plain and simple. And then we'll see what feuds morph from this. But Karrion Kross, without a doubt, wins, retains that title. And you let him develop the right way. I mean, look at how many people who have moved on from NXT to the main roster that we have noticed over the years and said, wow, look at what Aleister Black did in NXT. Look at what Andrade did in NXT. Look what the Viking Raiders did in NXT. Look what Samoa Joe did in NXT. Look at what Nakamura did in NXT. Look at this person in NXT. Look at this person in NXT. Look at all the things that they did in NXT, and they came to the main roster and they got used like shit. So why would you do that same formula for your NXT heavyweight champion right now? Why? Again, because he has an amazing entrance and a beautiful woman by his side? Maybe in fantasy land that works. But, as far as the world of entertainment goes and WWE goes, that's a recipe for disaster. Look at Keith Lee. Look at Keith Lee. Look at Dominik Dijakovic. You want me to just keep going on and on and on? So, no, you do not move him to the main roster right now. You let this guy go back to live fans, strengthen his identity a little bit further, have him feud where crowds could literally start reacting, and you start really getting a good pulse on the live fans instead of social media only. Because remember, 5% of wrestling fans are the ones who are the most loudest on social media. And then you got people out there that will just overly gush. And then you got people out there who will complain about everything. You need to have these live fans back and see it, feel it, let it come across on TV. That's one of the reasons why Tamina is a tag team champion right now. I'm not trying to compare Tamina to Karrion Kross, but, people just coming up with those assumptions. Like I said, they can't even get a paper route. And I'm going to take advice from those people. So, and for all I know, I could be completely wrong. For all I know, I could be completely wrong on Sunday. But I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view. I think it's going to be fun. Yes, I will be doing a recap right after. 5 matches should be a pretty quick one. Crazy Cruiserweight. What's up to you? What's up, my brother? Constantly replaying Bronson Reed hitting Escobar over and over just made him annoyed. Really took him out of watching NXT for Hour 1. He has another show that he watches from 9 to 10 p.m. I wouldn't put too much into that. Bronson Reed has not been on the radar of a lot of people. Bronson Reed has been one of those guys that you appreciate but never really stood out. I mean, I give credit to Mish and you and some others who really put a lot of stock in this guy. So now he's a champion. And, they have to find ways to really strengthen what he can do. And them replaying what he did with Escobar. Escobar has a lot of cred on his end. That's designed not to embarrass Escobar, but to try to strengthen Bronson Reed. So I wouldn't put too much into that. What happens to Legado del Fantasma after this? That is the question. And I'll be honest with you, man. I know nobody's talking about it. I'd love to see Santos Escobar in the main roster. I wouldn't even mind Legado del Fantasma, all 3 of them on the main roster. I personally think Santos Escobar on the main roster would be pretty fucking phenomenal. And I don't know. I don't know what you do. Nier's asking about Kushida. They're giving Kushida a little bit of a break. Kushida, you know, he'll be back next week, I think. You know, not everybody could fit on TakeOver. Look at Frankie Monet. Frankie Monet, she's got a week or two off. It's not a big deal. Kushida still is the most over person in NXT, in my opinion. As far as crowd and interaction, I think Kushida is the number one guy right now. So let WWE focus on the other talents right now. But, yeah, I could see Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio going at it. I could see him going at it with Kevin Owens. You know, I could see him on Raw going at it with AJ Styles. I could see him even doing something with Jeff Hardy. There's so many ways you could use him. He could kind of, I mean, it's sad to say it like this, he could kind of replace the void that Andrade left by being released. Lucha Libre? Oh, man, I could see him on SmackDown easily. I think it'd be pretty freaking epic. Yeah, he could go Santos Escobar and Sami Zayn. Do it Apollo Crews. There's so many people. I mean, talk about matches that we haven't seen for the most part. I think that would be pretty sweet to see that happen. Shout out to Craig Brown. Craig, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. You know, if I had a shirt that kind of represented the last 6 days, it's this. Can't get rid of the mask completely yet. I still wear it a little bit, even though I've been fully vaccinated for a long time. Didn't get the greatest of news last Saturday. You know, it is what it is. But it's all good. We're having fun, enjoying wrestling, paying off some bills. Now I got to take care of the maniac inside for 10 days. But I thank you very much. I thank you very much for the support. If you're around tomorrow, stop by because we're going to have a pretty fun, interactive night tomorrow. Like I said, we'll hold off calls till tomorrow, but we will definitely be taking calls tomorrow. I'll probably be doing it all night long. So start figuring out what you all want to talk about tomorrow. Remember, anything is on the table. Doesn't even have to be wrestling. Whatever is on your mind, you know, we could talk about it. So definitely we'll do that tomorrow. King of Games 405, he thinks SummerSlam is going to be a big show. Do I think this could be the best time for WWE to try to bring back CM Punk for a big match? No. I would love to see CM Punk back in a wrestling ring. I personally think a 2 or 3 match deal in AEW would be a lot better. I think CM Punk, although he could probably still do it, and without a doubt, a cult hero for a lot of people out there. I just picture SmackDown. There ain't no way they're going to have CM Punk verbally go toe-to-toe with Roman Reigns. They're not even going to take the chance of Roman Reigns getting his ass handed to him verbally. On Raw, I just don't feel him meshing with Lashley or McIntyre or, you know, maybe AJ, and it doesn't feel like it would fit. You know, the 2 matches that we talked about for a while, John Cena versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I think you have a much better chance of bringing in Brock Lesnar than CM Punk right now. That's my honest feeling on it. You could even have look, if you wanted to even do a little something in NWA, I could see AJ Lee showing up for that women's pay-per-view. That's a possibility, and she doesn't even need to show up with CM Punk. I mean, if AJ Lee has any interest in returning to the ring, just think about the hashtag remark that Mickie James said yesterday. I know Mickie James said that she does not want to wrestle on this pay-per-view, but she made the remark about the hashtag. you almost feel like there's almost a perfect storyline there. You imagine AJ Lee and CM Punk showing up in NWA and CM Punk challenging Nick Aldis and AJ Lee challenging Mickie James just for the remark that she said. Hell, I just came up with 2 fucking unbelievable matches that I think people would definitely pay to see. Just an idea. I'll get back a little bit more on what you said because I want to talk a little bit more about the Mickie James stuff in a moment. So, Crazy Cruiserweight also. We're about to approach 1 full year since Tegan Nox suffered a torn ACL. No update on her return. The problem with Tegan Nox is she has been injured a few times. And when she first had this injury, a lot of people felt that's it. That's it. I know some people have fantasies that she could show up and do role reversal with Dakota Kai. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would think by now we would have heard something about Tegan Nox. Look, for all we know, maybe she is making the road to recovery and returning soon. I just don't know how far that would go. Because even if she did return, is anybody really interested in seeing Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai go at it? I'm not so sure. Does anybody want to see Tegan Nox and Raquel Gonzalez go at it? I'm not so sure. So I would love to see Tegan Nox back in the ring. But I remember when an injury happened and a lot of people were like, oh, that's it. And, of course, we don't want that to happen. But I'm a little bit concerned about her future in wrestling. And if she comes back and has an injury again like this, that's it. Somebody should try to get an update. You know, I could ask a few people, especially that I'm being a little more interactive on Twitter now, you know, with the positive crew out there. I could ask a few people, hey, have you heard anything about Tegan Nox? Any word if she's coming back? So I'll do that. Yeah, I don't mind. And SoFly, he thinks my point I made about MSK being better, chasing the title than winning so soon maybe cause some fan backlash. That could be. I don't think fans were upset that MSK won. It's just that I think WWE expected fans to literally jump on their backs. Like, oh my God, this is like an ebony and ivory version of the Hardys, or it's like a team that would kick ass in AEW. And the Rascals were excellent in Impact Wrestling. We talked about the Rascals many times. They were excellent in Impact Wrestling. But fans out there knew who they were in Impact Wrestling, and they thought they were a great team. But there was never a point where people were like, oh my God, oh my God. I think people behind the scenes in WWE were more excited about MSK coming in than the fans themselves. So they get the right feud with the 2 right people. I think live fans returning in a big way will help them. Will help them. Because if they could have the right match with the right opponents and just tear the house down, where you get fans chanting, this is awesome, and not because it was piped in with a soundboard, and you get fans really invested, that will cause a lot of momentum for them. So we'll see what happens. Look, they are uber talented, and they are very likable. So I am not turning my back on MSK. Was it a little bit rushed? Yeah. It was more of, you know, a dream come true. You know, like it was unexpected that they would win, but they did, and they get along great. So now, you know, I don't want to compare it to La Resistance, but I always remember when La Resistance, they were putting the titles on them, and it felt like they were putting the titles on them to try to get them over instead of trying to get them over first and then putting the titles on them. Back in the day, WWE would do that sometimes. They put a title on someone as a way to try to get them over. And a lot of times it didn't work. So, anyway, so I want to finish up today's show with just to go a little bit further of what I said earlier. Mickie James showed up on NWA TV yesterday, and she cut a wonderful promo. I played it on Patreon yesterday. I can't do it here for copyright issues. But she is now part of NWA, and later on this year, they're going to have an all-women's pay-per-view. A first for the NWA. It's not the first ever, but for the first for NWA. And Mickie James, she wants to hear from all women all across the globe. She wants to find the diamonds in the rough. She is producing this, and she is working her ass off behind the scenes. I am very curious. She also said that she doesn't plan to wrestle on this show. And, you know, she made a comment. Did I write it down? Yeah. She said that she has no plans to go into business for herself and wrestle one of her favorites. I think Mickie James should reevaluate that, because I think the fans out there would love to see Mickie James have another high-profile match to make up for the bullshit WWE did to her the past couple of years. I think that's something that we all need to be very loud about and convince Mickie James, no. Mickie James, if you have a match on this pay-per-view, you're not going into business for yourself, but you're giving the fans what they wanted to see happen a little bit more in WWE. And we don't want the last, picture of her to be, remember that? So we will have plenty of time to talk about this a little more. I'm going to start putting individual clips on YouTube, because that's something that you all keep hounding me about. Like, DT, you got to put little segments, 5-minute segments on YouTube about individual topics. That's what will get people to really pay attention. Not search an hour and a half into a show and finding it there. So I'm going to start doing that more, and that will be one of the topics. Absolutely. One name that I focused on yesterday, and it might be a little unfair, but I'm going to leave you all with this. I want to see if Trish Stratus is involved in this in some way, and I'll tell you why. It's no secret that Lita has not been on the greatest of friendships with WWE in recent years, so I wouldn't be surprised if Lita shows up and a few others. But what I am very curious about is some women that still have a very tight relationship with WWE, but not necessarily being used in any way. I want to see if they would appear on NWA for this pay-per-view that Mickie James is involved in. Because Mickie James, although we all love her, appreciate her, think it's more appropriate, her rants about the garbage bag thing, you know my opinion on it already. I thought that was just way over the top for the rants that she went on, because WWE was doing that for over a decade and nobody complained for 10 plus years. And it was not done to be malicious, that it was just tossed like garbage. We're not going there, but the thing is, that pissed off WWE big time. And it's going to be interesting to see if anybody out there who has a decent relationship with WWE still, but maybe not under a wrestling contract, if they would show up for this pay-per-view. If we see names noticeably absent, then you realize that people out there, it's not about women's wrestling and the evolution of women and women getting their own show, their own pay-per-view, and making movements and this and that. At the end of the day, people are looking out for themselves. And honestly, you really can't find any fault in that. But that's just the facts. Look at Zelina Vega when she was let go. Andrew Yang, very vocal. Gabriela Cartieres, that ambulance chaser. Oh, we need unions. Everybody 320 character tweets. Now's the time for unions. Now's the time for unions. We got to have a union. Oh, productive call. I had a wonderful call. Nothing happened. How many wrestlers out there decided that they were all going to look into forming a union? How many? How many, everyone? Why is that? because it's very easy to talk shit and get all these likes and attention. Acknowledge me, acknowledge me. But at the end of the day, everybody looks out for themselves. So I am going to be very, very curious to see who shows up on this show and who doesn't. I would love to see somebody on the WWE roster, 1 or 2 women, who vocally say that they'd love to be on this for free. For free. They should have some type of charity thing attached to this. I'd love to see women from all different promotions all to get together. I don't expect it, but I'm going to watch this very, very closely. But I'm telling you, when Mickie James made that remark yesterday and said, you know, this is not about hashtags, I immediately said to myself, oh, man, you just imagine if AJ Lee were to show up and confront Mickie James, and that leads to a match on this pay-per-view. And if you want to go one step further, you have CM Punk possibly going at it with Nick Aldis. You mean to tell me people wouldn't want to see CM Punk and Nick Aldis, even if it's for a one-shot deal? Come on, Billy. Are you listening? I think that would be fucking phenomenal. I think that would be awesome. We'll see if Tony Khan has anybody involved. Let's see if Serena Deeb appears. Let's see if we get Hikaru Shida. That would be phenomenal. There's no reason why you can't have somebody from some different promotions. Hell, I want to see if they get Tessa Blanchard on there. Let's see. Let's see how many people step up truly because of an all-women's pay-per-view and how many people just make excuses why they can't appear. So, we'll see what trust me, by the time, if CM Punk were to show up in NWA and have a match with Nick Aldis, it would be in front of more than 100 people. By that time, things will be a little bit different. And you know what? Props, mentioned it Monday, props to NWA, props to Impact Wrestling, props to Ring of Honor to announce live fans back in attendance. Let's all keep it in perspective, though. NWA had pretty much nobody there. Pretty much nobody. Impact Wrestling, I already explained the logistics of that building. It's going to be a very, very small number there. And Ring of Honor, they announced their return, and they had, I forget which state it was, but they had tickets on sale on Ticketmaster. And when you go on the map, you realize that all the box seats, no tickets available. You have to be section 100. Anybody that knows anything about arenas, you got the floor seats, and then the first section up is section 100. Ring of Honor, they're only selling tickets section 100 and higher. Who's going to be around ringside? Similar to what AEW did. You're going to have friends and family in boxes that are going to blend in and try to come across as regular fans. So they're all taking an extreme level of caution still. But you know what? It's better than nothing. And it's a start. Props to all 3 companies for doing that. With that said, I am going to jet out of here. As always, friends, if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button. Like, share, subscribe. And when you subscribe, don't forget, hit the notifications. This way you're always alerted when the next show is coming. Now, remember, the schedule this week is the same as last week. Next week and the week after will also be the same because AEW not airing on Wednesday nights. Next Wednesday, I will be back here at 8 o'clock instead of 10 because AEW is not airing on Wednesday again for at least 2 more weeks. 3 more weeks, actually. This Friday and 2 Saturdays after that. So once AEW is back on Wednesday nights, then I will be back on 10 o'clock. However, I'm getting more and more of you out there that enjoy the AEW watch-along. And I was thinking about it. I might pull a poll up in the community section. Would you like for me to remain Wednesdays at 8 o'clock at night, and when AEW returns to Wednesdays, we turn Wednesday into a watch-along, And then we wrap up the rest of the show with some NXT discussion at the end of the night. Or we talk a little bit about NXT during the watch-along when we have bullshit matches on Dynamite. So that's a possibility. So we could very well possibly keep Wednesdays at 8 o'clock and we'll do watch-alongs. Because almost every podcaster out there does recaps the minute Dynamite goes off the air. So, you know, I don't want to compete with Wrestling Days or any others, but if you out there, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not saying that this is a change, but it's something that I'm starting to notice a lot of people say. So we'll see. I personally don't think watch-alongs every week would be all that good because, you know, Dynamites on Wednesday night, primetime, are going to be a hell of a lot better than the matches they give us on a weekend or late Friday night. So the quality of matches will substantially improve on a Wednesday. So more than likely, we're going to just keep it at 10 o'clock. So this tomorrow night, Thursday night, I will be back here at 10:05 p.m. for the mailbag, Ask DT, anything goes. I'll be taking calls all night long. Remember, I have 2 phone numbers now. I have 225 Don Tony, which is a regular toll call. And for everyone out there that asked me to get a toll-free number, I have a toll-free number now. It's 833-DON-VMVM, I think it is. So I'll display the numbers tomorrow. So for those that needed a toll-free number to call in, there is one now. So we'll be doing calls all night long tomorrow. So start figuring out what you want to ask. Could be WWE, AEW, Indies, anything. Could be wrestling, non-wrestling, whatever's on your mind. Just be prepared and, you know, we go through the questions as quickly as we can. And then as far as New Jack stuff, I don't know if I'm going to stream it tomorrow, Harris, because I, over the weekend, have to search for my old hard drive because I think it's July 11th, 2007 or 2011. There's an episode, the episode of myself, Mass Maniac, and New Jack, when New Jack was trying to convince me to post all those pictures of Terry Reynolds bloodied up that he wanted to send to me privately. And I was against it because at the time I was defending Dawn Marie with the whole Wrestlers Rescue stuff. And, you know, Terry was friends with her also. And I just felt in the middle. And halfway through the show, New Jack's like, "What's your email address?" I gave him my email address live on the air. And he starts sending me pictures of Terry Reynolds covered in blood. He's like, "Post these on your website." And I was like, I don't know if I want to get involved. It's an epic, epic episode. So I have an old hard drive that is boxed away, and I have a lot of boxes. So over the weekend, I'm going to search for it. I know I got it. And, you know, I might as well mention this too. You know, I did this once about 10 years ago. Well, maybe not 10, maybe 7, 8 years ago. Some people made some money out there. If some of you have old Mass Maniac show episodes recorded still, and there might be some episodes that I'm missing because when we had the falling out, I just basically deleted a lot of stuff, which was very moronic of me to do. But if there's any of you out there that do have old episodes in a Mass Maniac show that you think that I might be missing, email me. DonTony@DonTony.com or send me a DM on Twitter. I will be more than happy to financially send you a couple of bucks your way if you want to send me some episodes along. I don't know what I'm missing, but it would probably be a lot easier for me to just fill in the blanks without having to go crazy, inspect the gadget searching for it. So if any of you out there, yeah, Benjamin, I probably got rid of about half of the shows because it just, you know, did I think they were going to have any value later on? It's not that. It's just at the time it was just a really strange situation. By the way, I did exchange a message or two with the Mass Maniac over the weekend. So he's doing well. And I know some of you out there have asked about bringing him back on for an episode. I don't know if that's going to happen. But again, if anyone out there has any, and you want to make a couple of bucks off of it, you know, reach out to me. We'll see. If it ends up what you have is what I have. So you got some money out of it, even though I didn't need it. So we'll see. We'll see. So I'm going to jet out of here. Everyone have a great night. How long did we go? 2 hours, 25. Wow, we've been averaging 2.5 hour shows lately. So I hope to see you tomorrow night. I will think tonight what we're going to do as far as a contest tomorrow. I'll tell you the truth. You know what? Maybe, since we're giving away this, again, this is the prize for my channel members over the weekend for the predictions contest. So if you want to take part, you have a very good shot at winning this because, we don't have like hundreds of channel members. So, you score perfect and win the tiebreaker if it comes into play. That is a autographed and framed Johnny Gargano, Triple Crown photo. And that's a big photo. I think it's like 20 by 24. It's not an 8 by 10. And that's straight from WWE. So somebody's going to win it over the week. So, maybe we'll give this away tomorrow. A lot of people absolutely love the two. And, this is worth a pretty penny on eBay. So maybe we'll give that away tomorrow. Keep it simple. So, all right. Yeah, look, Harris. I have the Black Hearts interviews, by the way. But if anybody, the Mass Maniac stuff, especially, if you have any old episodes, reach out to me and, we'll see, we'll figure it out. So I remember about 6-7 years ago, somebody sent me about 20 episodes. I gave them $100. It ended up, I think, half of the episodes I didn't need, but, I gave them $100. So, we'll see. We'll see. Who is Jadarius? Who's Jadarius? Oh, okay, Jadarius Coleman. Today's his birthday. Absolutely. Happy birthday, my friend. Crazy Cruiserweight had one last week, right? Yeah, you had your birthday last week. So, very cool, man. Today's his golden birthday. How old is Golden? Is Golden like 100? I have the Paul Orndorff interview still. Those audio qualities are horrendous, though. I don't even know if I could pull it up. That was a weird interview. I mean, this was right after 9/11, and he's talking about how much he hates Al Sharpton and everything like that. I mean, that interview was pretty wild. How he got that interview was pretty wild, too. I still got it. I have the episodes. So he's 50. Awesome, man. Awesome. So enjoy the rest of it. So I don't know if your birthday is today or maybe you're overseas and it just started, but happy birthday, my friend. I know. Imagine if he was 100. So, oh, man. I will not be doing this if I'm 100. Trust me. Hopefully I could stick around for another 20 years at least. Not doing shows. But by the way, before I jet out of here, let's one last look at the bird cam. Let's see. We could put it bigger. He's just chilling. He's still watching TV. He's waiting for me to come out. So let me see if I can get his attention one last time. Let's see. Here we go. Fred! Fred! I'm going to go inside, little boy. Fred, turn around. Fred! Fred, you going to go to sleep? You tired? Fred, are you tired? If I say it a different way, he'd start yawning. Fred, turn around, mama. He's going to go. The microphone is not that good. I don't have one of these like $300 cameras that the speaker sounds great. It sounds all disheveled. He probably just hears random noise. So, yeah, let's disconnect this. I didn't even realize this freaking thing was in the way. Sorry. So, Fred TV, yeah. Fred TV, I have it tomorrow, a little bit clearer picture. And he might have to sleep already, believe it or not, because he usually goes to sleep. At my mom's house, he usually goes to sleep at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And he's up at 5 a.m. I really can't deal with him getting up at 5 a.m., so I'm going to have him go to sleep every night at like 10:30, and then he'll get up around 6:30. So, yeah, so I'm going to jet out of here. Everyone, have a great night. Much love as always. Where is my outro video? My outro video that some people, I don't know, for some reason get triggered over, but much love, everybody. Thank you for the support. If you're around tomorrow night, 10:05 p.m., join me here. Live calls all night long. I want to try to get 50 in. It sounds like a lot, but I want to see if I want to get at least 30. But get some topics ready, and, we'll have some pretty diverse conversations tomorrow, and never feel that you can't ask something, you know, even if it's a little controversial. I mean, you know, just one particular topic I'd rather not bring up because there is no good answer, and it'll probably just start wars. And I know I just invited myself into a mess tomorrow night, but we'll have fun. We'll have fun. Everyone, good night, be well, and talk to you tomorrow. Ciao.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.